Hello everyone, Warangel here, and welcome back to the Caliphate of Araby Let's Play for Warhammer 2. Now today I'm hoping to actually eliminate another Bretonnian Crusade army by going after, I think, the Knights of Origo. Now I say I think because we do have actually two options after defeating Fegan's infantry, I should say, in the last episode. Now one, we can go after the Knights of Origo. They do have two settlements, as you can see here, Pyrrhus and Zandri, and we do have an army of theirs right next to us, after somehow managed to get up close and personal despite our ambush being foiled. But the other option is that we could go into the west. Now we've got the Chevaliers of Lyonesse, led by Rapins de Lyonesse, leading them right outside Martech. Now for some reason though, their army is very weak, so we could just push into the west, take Kofa, eliminate these armies, and then be able to head back round in and go after the Knights. But I think we go after the Knights of Origo, since we take out their big army here, and it doesn't look like they've got anything else apart from the army here led by Gotrek down in Zandri. We could seize the initiative and push towards Pyrrhus, their capital. Now let me just check, because I wouldn't mind. Out of the two, I think Zandri might be the easier target, but let's have a look. Yeah, tier 3 settlements. They got their landmark building, the Holy Monastery. Oh wow, that allows them to get Battle Pilgrims and the Knights of Origo. And the Great Reliquary too. Okay. Alright, what about Zandri here? Okay, Zandri is definitely the weaker option, but if we go after Pyrrhus, we actually take away their ability to recruit new units, because that's their only recruitment slot buildings are here. So yeah, let's finish off Sir John and his men-at-arms right here. Oh, not. Don't move too far, don't move too... Yes.
This way.
Let's go and kill them off, Sultan Jaffar. Yeah, that's a pretty easy fight, and there's no need to fight this battle. I will add the standard of discipline though, but to whom? To be honest, I might just give it to you. Otherwise, I would have given it to these guys, or... Nah, I'll tell you what. Excuse me. Give it instead to... Give it to the Flying Carpets. I think they deserve one, after their excellent performance so far. But, well, to resolve it... Christ, a few more casualties than I would have liked, but... We were outnumbered quite a bit there. Okay, let's go get our hands on some extra slaves and replenishments. Kill them off.
Moving.
Right. Picked up Bold. Now don't forget, we have already defeated Sir John in the end of the first episode, if I remember right, in that auto-resolve battle. So we haven't got the trait for defeating him because we already got it. But how do I want to do this? We could attack it in the next turn, but we're going to have to miss out on some replenishments. Or we could try and get really, really close and see if that might be enough then to push it for us. Oh, I don't know, that might be just out of range. I think we can manage it. Yeah, let's push forward towards Pyrrhus. Even with the casualties we've taken, we should be able to take out the garrison easily enough. And if we use my agent here, can we assault the garrison? Yeah, well, gives us a chance to level them up. Success. Alright, we'll go ahead then and give you specialists. Alright, with that, let's go back to our province here. Now, we destroyed the Ballista Workshop once we recruited the Aradan. So what I wanted to do with Martech was swap out our barracks building for here instead of our hack. That way then we can start looking into doing maybe the cavalry buildings or something like that, so we can get up to the top tier. Although, which one? Giant Scorpions. Behemoth, I should say Scorpions. And we can get War Elephants as well. Oh, definitely we want to try and go for that then. Right. Although, hang on. If we take Pyrrhus, will we keep the barracks building? Because that would save us then actually having to recruit one. Nah, let's just go and recruit it now. Just in case we don't. And then we'll go ahead and demolish that one in advance.
So,
Quickly do some skill points. So, Naimi, let's give you Deadly Blade. And see what happens. Wait a minute, what? Did you guys see that just then? Wait a second, right. There's now a full stack out of Side Virus. And it just appeared out of nowhere. I mean, we got our agents right here. He would have saw them if they moved onto land. But, I don't know, were they setting up an ambush or something like that? Or did they just decide to randomly spawn a complete army out of the blue? Oh, why? Hang on. That's why. They performed a Corps of Infantry, right. Okay.
I don't care for this order.
So ideal.
it is time.
Let's use Barber to assault the units.
I don't agree.
That's okay. If it's a failure, it's a failure. But we'll get Specialist and we'll go for assault units. Now the reason why I wasn't fussed is even if we didn't kill anyone, we could have a look to see what he's roughly managed to get. Or she, I should say. Okay, it's going to be a typical infantry army, right.
Quiet. Listen.
What I'm thinking,
Not in this world or the other.
I would prefer to get rid of that army first before taking the capital. But don't forget, we have Lightning Strike, so that nothing's stopping us from actually taking the settlement. And with these actually not being able to get involved. I mean, that will allow us to gain replenishments. But then the problem is, though, not only would we face the garrison, then we would have to deal with the full stack that's outside our settlement then.
Powers of oblivion.
Well, they do say that, fortune favors the bold. So yeah, let's do it. Let's push towards Virus. We'll do a lightning strike then on the town itself, so we can take it without this army being able to do anything against us. Although, it can't say it really can do that much against us anyway. But I'd rather not have to deal with them if possible, so let's just use lightning strike. Still hasn't put it that much in my favour, I must admit. But that's fine, we'll just deal with it. So let's go down to the battlefield now, guys, and take the city. Welcome everyone to the Battle of Virus. Now I have to say that I really love the mixture of the desert with the Bretonnian buildings. I mean, you can see all these desert plants scattered around the place, and then it goes in with the Elven-esque buildings that the Bretonnians are well known for. And just looking back here, you got not only the statue of the lady with the grail, but look at the sheer indulgence of all this water scattered around the place. That is really, really cool. But anyway, back to the battlefield. So, as you can see, I split up my army into two forces. The main force over here on the east side of the map, heading up towards the walls. And over here in the south, we've got my ranged units as well as my flying carpets coming in. Now, what I decided to do, as we were marching into range, was actually summon a mirage of spearmen. The plan with these was to actually send them in order to try and distract the towers and the missile fire heading my way. I figured might as well hit something that's not going to do me any damage. So all my forces are making their way up towards the walls, ready to stick their ladders up. And as we're doing that, the flying carpets are coming in just to start doing some damage on the battlements here. These bowmen are not in for a good day, and even though we're going to have some units coming in from the men-at-arms, my flying carpets are more than capable of taking them on. You can see them just hovering around right now, and have already got the bowmen about to retreat. Now, while the forces are getting into position and we're starting to move everybody else, we've got my Aradara and my Bombard firing onto the gates, and we've got units like Naimi here, the Askar, we've got Sultan Jaffar coming in, and the new mount for our Rafik. If you remember, he picked up in the last episode the Jin vessel, which is what this is here, and we'll be seeing exactly what it does later on in the battle. But in the moment, everyone's now starting to make their way up onto the walls. And this is where, unfortunately, I suffered the issue, the glitch, I should say, that happens sometimes, where you could order a unit to actually go up onto the walls, and then instead they just stand there. So this unit was getting shot at for quite some time until I realized, oh, they're not actually getting up there, and then I eventually moved them up. But while that's happening, and you can see the rest of my forces coming up onto the walls, and really making short work of the units over here. Now, Pendulum went right through the Grail Knights, doing a nice bit of damage, although none of them actually died yet. But along the battlements itself, you can see my warriors, my spearmen and that are just doing a ton of damage to them. The men-at-arms trying to defend the walls are not going to be sticking around here for long. Now, it's at this point that I realized about the units and I decided to bring them up. And while they're doing that, my characters have just moved right to the base of the tower to prevent themselves getting shot at. And while they're doing that, we've got arcane conduits going by, we've got abilities being casted, we've got the paladin over here as well. But yeah, at this point it's pretty safe to say that we've captured the battlements. Now, of course, we've still got some men-at-arms and spearmen to deal with over here, and they are shooting through the towers at my bowmen. But they're providing a nice little distraction then, until we eventually send off a few units to try and deal with them. But as back over here now, we've basically captured the battlements. We've got foot squires to deal with, and some bowmen. We've even got some bowmen now have returned in order to start firing at my troops, but this is the main advantage of fighting Bretonnians when they are the defenders. When they have a lot of cavalry, I mean, look at the Grail Knights, one of the most powerful units that they can have, and yet they're just sitting there doing nothing, right, because they just can't get up in order to attack our units. Now, while that's all going on though, we've managed to get our troops, I believe, our characters up onto the walls. If only I can find out where they disappeared off to. Ah, here they are. So, they're busy over there, and I'm hoping that we can see in a minute me using the Serpent Staff for the first time, because when I saw it, I was impressed. We've got a good position right here with the Paladin, we've got Men-at-Arms and the Grail Knights over here. So, in a minute, hopefully, we'll be able to see it activate. In fact, there we go. Now, I believe that's actually the Sotek ability that, what's this called? The Cult of Sotek can use from Tehran, if I remember the skink's name right, the Prophet of Sotek. But still, very cool spell to cast, I must admit. Now, at this point now, we've basically cleared the battlements completely. We've got some reinforcements coming in from their centre, but not really much that they can do. We've even managed to cause the Grail Knights a ton of damage. We managed to kill 3 of them. I mean, considering that in the tabletop, these are basically the equivalent of your heroes in terms of what they're expected to be like. I mean, that's extremely well. We've even killed 3. Now over here now, we get to see exactly what the Jin vessel does. And there we go, we've summoned a Desert Spirit to help us. Now, not only is it armor-piercing damage and ethereal with some good combat abilities, but it also has the ability to summon 3 sandstorms, one of which I've let loose, as you can see right over here, doing a bit of damage to the men-at-arms units, and just preventing them from getting back together. Now, the gates have been finally destroyed after all this time, shooting at it with the Bombard and the Aradar. So we're in a position now where you can see we're bringing in our cavalry, the Desert Dogs and the Cephalus, just in order to help things out. While that's doing that, we're bringing in troops from the battlements to come and deal with the Spearmen as well as the Grail Knights over here. They're taking a ton of damage because even though they've charged in, we are facing Spearmen and we've had the Desert Spirit attacking them from behind. Like I said, armor-piercing damage, a high weapon strength, as you can see, all add up when you're fighting them in combat. Now, just to swing over here to show you what exactly has happened. We eliminated all the men-at-arms that are up on here, especially with the aid of the flying carpets. I brought my ranged units in to try and originally climb them up in the walls, but it was at that point I realized there was no point sending them in. So instead we focus on the main part, where over here, our Fee cast the quicksand in order to slow down all their units, including the Grail Knights in there, to make sure that they can't charge in. And Spearmen are coming in now to fight the Grail Knights. A Pendulum blasts across there to do a ton more damage. We do have some units still back here. Knights of the Realm, for example. We've got the remnants of the units that have retreated off the walls. But it's not going to be too long. At this point now, we've got Peasant Bowmen retreating. The Foot Squires are hanging on in there. These Knights of the Realm, I don't know why they were just doing what they were doing. They kept running back and forth like they couldn't either get to our troops, or they were just really unsure about fighting us. But for their troubles, they now experience a sandstorm thanks to the Desert Spirits. At this point, the Grail Knights are starting to lose. I think our Flying Carpets now lost all of their arrows, so I'm going to start bringing them over soon just to start attacking in them from the rear, do a nice rear charge. But it's not going to be too long until the battle's over. We've got Spearmen already coming in order to go after the Knights of the Realm. A lot of their forces, as you can see, is already retreating back. Another Pendulum going straight across, courtesy of Sultan Jaffar. And at this point now, all they really got left are the Knights of the Realm and the Grail Knights. And even then, at this point, everybody routs, and this town is ours. Now, being, of course, a siege battle, there's no point chasing down the remnants. So, at this point, I think we can quickly go back to the campaign map. So, a decisive victory, and the town of Pyrrhus now belongs to Araby. Now, we didn't take that many casualties, which is quite good. It means that we should be able to replenish them fairly quick. Very useful, considering we've got an army right outside the settlement. And we're just going to go ahead and occupy.
Death is not
Christ, that looks hideous once we've swapped it over from the Bretonnian one to a sort of the Empire look. Yeah, it looks terrible now. Anyway, let's go through these. Right, and yeah, give it a turn and we should be up to pretty much full strength. Now, let's see about upgrading our characters. And we've got 8 points. Oh, I'm still a little tempted to go for Camel, but yeah, we're 2 levels away from getting our hands on an elephant. So instead, let's go Cunning Charisma to give me that extra bonus in combat, and apparently from trade income as well. In fact, speaking of trade, remind me guys, check in a minute on the dwarves. Now, it has been suggested that given what Jaffar sounds like, with basically wanting to kill off everybody, it might be in the best sort of idea of role-playing to actually go after the prospectors and eventually and kill them, but I think we can leave them to last at the very least. Now, let's go for the Burning Hands with you, and then with Naimi, let's give you Foseeker, I think now will be good. Right, let's have a quick look. What do we have here? Okay, so we do actually have another barracks building. We'll demolish that. Let's go for you here. We could go for Brine. Oh, hello. A caravan stop. Camel Lancers and be doing scouts. Riders with bows. Tuareg riders. Okay. Missile infantry, good. Oh no, these are nomads. Armor-piercing missiles. Oh wow. They sound good. Jaguar champions. Southland warriors. Arabian ogres. And camel riders with Giselles. So we can get our hands on a giant finally. Oh, I feel tempted to get one. I mean, it would be nice to get our hands, though, on Cephalus again, and the elephants and scorpions just sound cool. Let's go for both when we eventually upgrade. For now, let's go for that one. Right. Well, we can upgrade this. I'm going to risk it and do it right now. Even though we're going to have to be a bit careful because our income is still very much in the red. Let's see now about that trade agreement.
Let's hear what
Are you willing?
then.
You are? Okay. How much we getting? About 270. Okay, that's held things out quite nicely. Very, very cool. And plus, when we... Oh no, we already got spices from there. We could go for brine and that with our hack. And I don't know what Kofa can trade in. Trade in pottery. Right. And I would like to know what the unique building is. For the moment, though, let's just hit the end turn. Right. Well, Wapan's de Leoness has actually made a bit of a bold move by laying siege to the city of Al-Haq. Now, bearing in mind, we have only got a tier 2 settlement, but we do have a good number of units in the garrison. Now, if we check out her army... Excuse me, I want to check. I tell you what, then let's check out this way. Yeah. Somehow I'm not concerned. We may want to come back and deal with them sooner rather than later, but with the units she's currently got... I mean, she could attack right away, and she has chosen not to. So, sure, let them just lay siege to that. The worst thing that's happening is we can't continue building up our caravan stop, but what can you do? Instead, let's grab our hero Baba, go and assault some units and see if that makes any difference. Another failure. Damn it. In that case, let's just go and eliminate that army. Alright, after this, I think we can easily auto-resolve that. We will take some extra cash this time, let her run or die completely. Right, skip through all of these. Right, we want to start making our way now towards Zandri. Gotrek and Felix are going to be tough opponents, but I would like to know what else they've got. I don't think they've got anything major. But let's just move you back here for the minute. Might as well get them back up to full strength. Can we get any more? We can get the Deaf Giselles at level 16. Okay, good to know. Alright, Baba's moved, you've moved. Okay, let's upgrade. What's that? 1 second. Conspirator of Evil. The Sultan's great power comes from making allies with those who possess it, but it comes at a price. Spreads corruption, wins and magic, and what happens as we go up? Okay, so we can actually get a massive diplomatic bonus with Chaos, Norsko, and Skaven. That's interesting. Right, we'll remember that. As for here... At the moment we don't have access to any Arabian Guard or Cataphracts, so let's go instead with the Slave Monger. Might as well improve the bonuses while we're here. And then with Naimi, we can actually upgrade now to give you this. So, Guardian, Sergeant. Now he himself has got bonuses for fighting in combat himself. So let's go for instead for Sergeant so we can increase the bonuses for our entire army. That would be much nicer. So we'll give you that. And then for our Rafik, I think I will keep the Jinn Vessel for the moment. As useful as the Flying Carpet was, having the ability to summon in that Desert Jinn was very useful in the siege battle. So let's instead... Minus 24 armor. That's very cheap again. Let's go another point in Burning Hands for that. That should give me increased armor piercing. Okay. Alright, and then here are Fivers. Excuse me. Fivers. Let's go for a bit of safety here and get a guardhouse built. Just in case. Okay, no. So let's get forward 2 turns at this point, just to get us within position of Zandri, otherwise we've just wasted a turn doing nothing. Now I kind of want to fight this battle quickly because our income is going to be a trouble. Even with that trade agreement, we haven't actually done anything in terms of building anything new that needs maintenance cost, and yet I presume it's because of the fact that our hack is under attack. But let's go and attack Zandri. Now this might be a bit of a tough fight, especially since we are going to be fighting Gotrek and Felix. And, well, you can see here, they're going to be quite tough opponents to face. But I think we'll be up to the task. Our troops have performed well so far. And just to help things out, let's get some siege towers done this time. Now, we don't want to push it too far. Let's just go ahead and attack the settlement straight away. Otherwise, we're going to be going into bankruptcy and start taking attrition. So, let's see you guys on the battlefield. Welcome everyone to the Wars of Zandri. Now, as we start the battle, I've decided to do something a little different with the formation. What I did was split up my main line into 2 teams, going on each side of the main gatehouse. While that was happening, I also asked my champions as well as my ranged units to make their way around to the side in order to climb up the walls once the main garrison was distracted. And then I was also asking all of my characters to be making their way to the base of the tower like I did in the previous battle, to ensure that they weren't getting shot at too much by the enemy units. While that was all happening, we have my war machines firing on the gatehouse like last time, and the flying carpets making their way over in order to try and do some early damage to the unit of spearmen sitting over here. Now, while this is all marching forward, I did send out Rafik to cast another Mirage, just in order to try and, again, be a target for the enemy's missile fire rather than my own troops. And it ended up being a little bit more effective this time. Being that the fact that they're right in the front, they soon get targeted by a lot of enemy missile fire. So, there we go. And while they are occasionally firing on some of the other ones, these are the ones that are going to be taking a bit more damage as a result. Now, as that's going on, you can see the flying carpets are just casually firing away down on the spearmen, already doing a nice bit of damage, I just noticed. Wow, that's actually pretty cool. Nicely done. But while that's happening, the troops are making their way up onto the walls. Now, I have to admit, when I was deploying my force, I was a little nervous because of the fact that, as you guys saw, the army of the defenders is being led by none other than Gotrek Gurnason. And, well, if you've ever read the books, you know exactly how deadly a fighter he is. But luckily for me, he's actually down here, and just in range, ready for a pendulum to strike right behind him. But he's as cool as a cucumber, while the rest of the spearmen and men-at-arms around him get the damage. But I was glad to see that he was actually deployed down on the bottom instead of being up on the battlements. Although, that's not to say it's not defended. You can see over here they've got their paladin leading the defense on this side. And I believe it's somewhere over this side. Where is he? Here. That Felix is leading the defense on the eastern walls. So with that then, we've basically got all my troops climbing up to attack the battlements themselves in terms of the spearmen, the men-at-arms, and the bowmen. They're going to be pretty easy targets, but fighting Felix is going to be a little tougher. There he is with his magical blade, which is the name I can't remember. It's got it's something like, no, what's it called, Drake Slayer or something like that? It's the magical weapon he picks up in basically the Troll Slayer, the first ever book. And they don't realize his true potential until he actually gets to the book Dragon Slayer and realizes it's actually got quite a cool magical ability allowing him to actually fight a dragon and survive. I'm surprised that Gotrek wasn't that annoyed, considering that he thought he might have got robbed of a mighty death. Although you guys can correct me in the comments if I'm making any mistakes. It's been a while since I read these Slayer books. But anyway, as this is all going on, we've got another pendulum going, and soon another strike from the Serpent Staff, going straight across there, doing a nice bit of damage to the unit right here, Footsquires. Now at this point now, everyone's up on the walls. We've got our Sultan Jaffar, as well as our Rafik, and even should be somewhere around here, Naimi. Here he is. Naimi. Now I sent him originally to try and actually engage with Felix. But because of all the enemy unit models running around, it's getting harder and harder to try and track him down. We did manage to catch up, it seems, to him, but you can see there's some early damage. But between him and the Paladin, we've got quite a few units to go after. Now while that's going on, our flying carpets have managed to use up all their arrows, doing a ton of damage to the ranged units down here. You can see 68 men left out of that spearman regiment. It's very impressive thing. But we'll soon be using them in other ways. We just got other units just standing around at this point. I didn't want to try and send them along the battlements where they just get in one another's way. So I just thought I'll leave them there. And while that's actually going on, over here on this flank, you can see I've brought up my bowmen and my Giselles. The Giselles firing straight away with their target being the Knights of the Realm. They've already done a nice bit of damage just for getting up on the walls, and that's not even them at full strength. So I'm quite happy to let them just keep firing away and damage them. We also got remnants of the bowmen and spearmen over here, but we've got bowmen firing down just to keep them a bit distracted. Now this was my first look at the Burning Hand spell, which we had in the previous battle, but it's got such a short range for casting that we've only managed to get close enough to do that then. But still, it was a nice bit of damage that was done there. Now, we see the Knights of the Realm just running up and down. They don't know what to do. They're getting shot at and no one's up there to try and stop them. And while that's happening, just all these units just wandering around. I'm surprised none of them try to make their way up to the walls to actually defend the battlements, including Gotrek. He's just marching around, really not doing much. Now, the gates have been blasted open at this point, so we've got the Spearman Mirage still sitting around, not doing much. But right behind him then, we do have my horsemen ready to start moving in. I was a bit apprehensive to move them in straight away, just because there's still a ton of units. I wanted to try and weaken them up a bit first before they started coming into a charge. But the first thing though was clearing up the battlements. Now we've already got most of the units retreating, the Paladin is still around, as well as Felix still hanging on in there. But they are just being overwhelmed by the amount of units that are up there on the walls. They are trying, bless them, but you can see over here, the Paladin is just surrounded by a sea of Araby warriors. So not really much he can do there all by himself. Over here now we've got another sandstorm being blasted through, courtesy of Al Rafiq. And everybody is just decimated. I should say, I was going to say destroyed, but that's not even a good enough word. They're just being destroyed utterly. Now, at this point then, with the Knights of the Realm moving, I thought I'll take advantage of the fact that Gotrek, as you can see, has only got 5 armor. So I'm just firing away with him with my ranged units, not doing a ton of damage, but it's all adding up over time. Now don't forget, he does have access to certain abilities which I can't show straight away, but he can boost himself up with damage resistance and all sorts. So it's going to take a little while to do the damage, but that's fine. We'll let them carry on. Over here now, my flying carpets have been busy trying to go after some of the bowmen, but ended up getting caught up with the Knights of the Realm and Spearmen around. They're just doing this weird dance now because they're doing the typical thing with flying units, where some of them are stuck down on the ground and others are trying to escape. But luckily now they managed to get out, and just in time for all my bowmen to start firing down on them. Now eventually I thought, you know what? Now, we'll just go down and start attacking them. So you can see we've got units of warriors coming down. Gotrek now at this point is actually coming in to try and attack. But he's not going to get too much done, although that was a cool little cinematic. You guys see that? When he just rolled along the floor like that? Wow, and he sent him flying. But... oh, that laugh. I've actually been listening to Realm Slayer recently, where they managed to get Brian Bless to voice Gotrek in the audiobook, just like they've done for this. And he sounds so fantastic as Gotrek. I really wish they included him in the later one, Ghoul Slayer, but no matter. It's just one of those things. But we've now got spells coming in. We've got a Spirit Leech being casted on him just to slow down and damage him some more. The Spirit is coming in now to do some damage. We've got the Desert Dogs and my Cephalus coming in as well. Felix is trying to run away. The entire garrison at this point has shattered. Or retreating. The only one left is actually Gotrek because of him being unbreakable. So really it's just a case of waiting for him to die. So if we just pop on here and let him do the cinematic, he's getting attacked by all my troops as well as the Desert Spirits. But there you go, he's finally been knocked down. Unconscious perhaps, but not dead yet. But with his defeat, we've managed to win the battle. So we'll head back to the campaign map and start sorting things out for Zandri. I'll see you there. And so with that, the town of Zandri has been taken. Got a nice bit of cash as well, just what we needed given our current situation with our income. But most importantly, we didn't lose any full units and we wiped out the entire Origo force. So, what we're going to do with the town, we're just going to go ahead and occupy it. Give the game a second, thank you. Ooh, Legend Slayer. It's going to take more than that to finish them off. But perhaps you've made yourself an entry in their chronicles. So, because we defeated Gotrek and Felix, we managed to gain the trait Unbreakable. that could come in handy. Right. And what's this? Minus 10% missile resistance. Okay. Let's all go destroyed. And Xandri now belongs to us. Now, I did notice this earlier, but I don't think I mentioned it yet. But I would love to know what's going on here, because the top knots have taken Khemri. Now, this could open things up quite nicely for us when we're in a position to go for them. Because, well, Khemri is not only a major capital, it's got 9 building slots, once you take into account that one. But the fact that it's basically Cetra's capital, and I would love to know what happened here to lead the dwarves, sorry, not the dwarves, what on earth am I talking about? To have the orcs actually come and take it. That would be interesting to know. But anyway, let's have a look here. We've got a Shisha Den, which allows us to recruit nomads. What are nomads? Well, I know what nomads are, but what are they? They're a hero option, it looks like. The Arabian cities hide all kinds of dangers in their shadows, the assassins of this land. Or they're Hassashin, apparently. Ooh. Okay, we might just consider using these. So we've got the one with the same trait as our current hero. Proud for a 16% charge bonus or rise for extra research. And you can assassinate, hinder replenishment damage. I think I'm going to recruit this guy first of all. Nadim al-Masri. And I'm just going to use him in order to boost up our research rate. We'll use him as a campaign map agent. So you can do that.
Orders.
You're going to replenish again. Right. And now what we're going to do with Martek. I think we're going to have to build this at some point, because we need this in order to be able to recruit the Arabian Guard, which I want to put in the army. And so if we pop onto here, yeah, Arabian Guard requires the Casbah. Now, since I don't know if this actually applies, although don't get me wrong, it would be quite nice for the bonus income and trade resource. We might come back to it, we might destroy it, the guardhouse, eventually, once we can actually secure the area. But for now, let's get the Casbah. And to be honest, I don't know if that just building it here is enough for us to use it for the entire province. In which case, we'll be able to use it for some of the cataphracts at Al-Haq, the Cephalis. Or we may have to build it there and there. We'll check it out once it's actually built and find out. Now, let's finally upgrade these guys. So now we can get our hands on our royal elephants. There we go, perfect. Alright, you have that. And our Rafik. I think we are going to keep with the Jin vessel for the moment. That's been extremely useful so far. Although, what do I want? Curse of the Jin in order to reduce enemy armor. Or reduce our base chances. Can we do that as area of effect? Increased... Yes, we can. Oh wow, it actually reduces magic resistance as well. Oh Christ, we're going to go for that, definitely then. Right. Oh wow, that really boosted up our expenses, didn't it? Putting him on a war elephant. Right, well, I'll tell you what. Remind me in order to swap it over next time. And is there anything better we can try and get rather than a 1% bonus? I mean, even a bailiff. I'd rather take the +1 to public order. Kairo's Pact. Now, that's the thing. I would love to know how we exactly summon a fire Jin. Because it's a ability, but I have no idea how we're supposed to do it. And I haven't spotted anything in the actual battles themselves. Unless... No, I haven't seen anything like that on here. Alright, we'll keep an eye. But anyway, next episode. In fact, let's click this. And then we'll talk about it then. Okay then guys, we're here at the start of a new turn. And so we're going to end today's episode here. Now, next episode, what I'm planning to do, well, in between episodes, is basically go and eliminate this rebel army that's spawned by Virus, and get us into a position around our hack. Now, depending whether or not Rapans de Lyonesse and her 2 other forces actually continue to lay siege to it, we may take the opportunity to wipe them out early, or we'll have to chase them down and kill them in the desert. But what I'm thinking we'll do then is push towards Kofa, take that and secure the entire province, and then what we'll probably do is head along the coast down here, towards the Wizard Caliph's palace. I think it's a fitting location for us to aim for, given that we are Sultan Jaffar. And then we'll follow the coast along to here. We'll probably eliminate Clan Eshin if possible here at El Calabad. Now you can see already warpstone spawning around the place. And then we'll see how it goes from there. So guys, with that, thank you very much for watching today's episode. I hope you all enjoyed and that you do join me next time for some more Warhammer. But until then everybody, take care, stay safe, and goodbye for now.